What's up guys, this is Yasin. So the other day I saw a very interesting Crystron decklist in the OCG that actually utilized the K9 engine, and I never really put that much thought into it, but yeah, I do realize that in the end, they do actually synergize quite a lot with each other since, you know, Joe Lantern, they're both really good extenders when you're already playing a bunch of level 5s in the deck. And of course, the Crystron deck is a deck that plays, you know, Sulfid Hole as well as Sulfefnir, so 2 level 5s, and you play a decent amount of them, so usually those cards are going to be live, and even if you just draw a bunch of K9 cards, I mean, they do a lot on their own. I mean, not necessarily just a 1-card combo, but there are a lot of like very small 2 or 3 card combos that work incredibly well and that can put an insane amount of disruptions in this deck, but also play through infinite hand traps. It's actually crazy how just resilient this deck really is, and this is what this video is all about. So yeah, before we go any further, you already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these, and also a huge massive shout out to my Blue Eyes and Crystron Spreadsheet. You can find both of them on my website, yacineygo.com. The link will always be at the very top of the description box below. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so combo number 1, we have Joe as well as a Crystron Tristalos. I'm going to be normal summoning the Tristalos first, and then go Joe effect, special summon itself, as well as any other level 5. Doesn't have to be anything specific. And then your Joe is going to be searching the Lantern. This card is the Monster Reborn. Actually, it doesn't revive back any level 5 from the grave, only a K9 monster, but whatever, it's doesn't really change too much. But yeah, the Ripper is going to be detaching a Joe in order to search the case of K9, which searches your Izuna from deck to hand. So yeah, this card is going to be an interruption on the opponent's turn. And then we're going to be going Lantern effect, revive back your Joe and then you're going to be using the effect of your Lantern to search for the X-Force Liberation. This is the only quickly spell card that we have to play just because it's the better one. And then Synchro Summon into the Elascaletas, but we're not even going to be using its effect. That's just to give you an idea of how, you know, how much wiggle room this combo even has, just because all we really need it for is, you know, the graveyard effect of Tristalos, destroy the Elascaletas, summon 2 monsters from the deck, but also trigger the Elascaletas to summon back the Tristalos from the banished. And also Sulfid Hole is going to be sending the Theisvern as well as Smyger. Smyger search the inclusion to search the cluster. So far, this should be easy to follow, and then Theisvern banish itself to search a Smyger for next turn. That's just going to be a discard fodder for the Sulfefnir's graveyard effect. But yeah, the Smyger is not really relevant. I mean, it could have been anything else. It's just the best follow-up that we're going to have. But yeah, Synchro Summon it into the Phaedon Dragster. And then this is a really cool play. So Sulfador, destroy your Sulfefnir and then revive back. And also trigger your Sulfefnir to summon the Tristalos. And then Synchro for another Phaedon Dragster. And then use Sulfefnir effect, revive itself back. Then you got to destroy a card on your field. That is going to be the Inclusion, which is great for you because now we can banish it from the grave to revive back a Crystron monster. And then overlay for Nova into Infinity. By the way, all of this was completely immune to Nibiru because Ripper can negate a monster effect that activates in the hand or graveyard by detaching a material from the card. So yeah, this is completely broken through hand traps. And then we're going to be going Inclusion, revive back the Tristalos, and call it a turn. Okay, so how many disruptions do we have? Well, first of all, we have the Ripper that can, of course, negate a monster effect in the hand or grave. So very good against Fiendsmith. It can negate Engraver. It can negate Luri. It can negate just a bunch of things overall. It's not really good against Malice, though, but it can negate Bestial, so it's not, like, too bad. And then we've got double Dragster, so 2 Spell and Trap negates, 1 Omni negate, because Infinity negates absolutely anything, so Monster, Spell, and Trap. And then we've got the Cluster that can destroy a card, but also Tristalos can summon the Citri, and then make Quarion Gondrax to banish up to 3 monsters from your field, from your opponent's field and or graveyard. But also the Cluster, since we're going to be holding it for after we summon the Quarion Gondrax, we're going to be able to destroy up to 2 face-up cards on the field. So that's a pop 2, with a banish 3, 2 Spell and Trap negates, the Infinity to negate anything, the Ripper to negate a monster effect, the X-Forced Liberation that will transform the Ripper into Werewolf, but also destroy a card your opponent controls in the process without targeting, by the way, as part of the resolution of X-Force Liberation. And then Werewolf also interrupts your opponent, so whenever he activates a card effect, you can look at your opponent's hand and then banish a card from it face up until the end of the turn. So it's really nice at just making sure that your opponent absolutely does not break your board. But also we've got another interruption of the form of Izuna that can summon itself whenever your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or in the graveyard. Like during the turn where your opponent does that. Like not necessarily you have to chain it to it or like on the resolution of it. And then this can send the Lupus. Lupus can revive itself back. And then you can quick Xyz into Chronomaly Vinama or something, which is also a monster negate. So in other words, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 disruptions, because Werewolf is also a disruption. So 9 disruptions off of simply Tristalos, Joe there we go, and any level 5 monster in the game. Yeah, this is kind of insane when you think about it, huh? Not too bad, not too bad. Let's try to see what you can do with only 2 cards through multiple hand traps now. Okay, so obviously combo number 1 was already very good through hand traps because, you know, we rush a Ripper so that whenever opponent tries to like Veiler or Ogre, Ash, or Nibiru us, it's not gonna matter because we can just negate it. So it really just puts, you know, into perspective just how resilient the deck is, but it gets even better because with a mere 2-card combo, look at how many Veilers you can beat. So yeah, special summon the Jokul and then special summon the Sulphid Hole, and then effect, you're gonna be getting Veiler here. Your opponent has to Veiler. There is absolutely no way he can let this resolve. No way, because this card foolishes up to 2 Crystron cards from her deck to the grave. Like, this is even better than Memento Tatsunoto Shigo. You can never let Sulphid Hole resolve, but it's not gonna matter. So we get Veilered on the Jokul that can search any K9 monster from the deck to the hand. This is also fine, and then go for the Ripper, which also searches. We get Veilered, but we can just negate the Veiler. So what's gonna happen is that we're going to be searching our deck for the Lantern, and we're also going to be setting the X-Force Liberation in the process. So we're actually plussing, thanks to our opponent hand-trapping us, because the bonus effect of being able to set a Key 9 quickly spell off card from her deck or graveyard to her field is only possible during the turn your opponent activated a monster effect, I mean that turn, you know, for where, like, regardless of the location. So yeah, now we can go Lantern effect, summon itself as well as the Jokul from the grave, and then Lantern search the K9, Case of K9, which searches a monster. That is going to be the Izuna, and then special summon the Izuna on effect, Foolish for the Lupus, and then our opponent used the monster effect in the hand or grave so he can revive back. This, by the way, is already an insane amount of damage on the field. So we got triple Veilered, and with a 2-card combo, we have like 15,000 something damage. This is complete insanity. But yeah, we can keep interrupting our opponent even more because we can go into a Vimana, using the 2 monsters that aren't under the annoying restriction of Lantern and Jokul that stipulates that they cannot be used for the Xyz material of a light Xyz monster. So we gotta make Vinama with Lupus and Izuna, and then we gotta make another Ripper using the Lantern or Jokul. You could also make the Nash Knight, which is a great interruption, but we might as well make a Ripper also for next turn. And also we have the X-Force Liberation to transform potentially this or this Ripper into the Werewolf. And then we can, you know, look at our opponent's hand, destroy a card, etc. So yeah, that's a lot of disruptions. That is 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, 4 disruptions through triple hand traps with a 2-card combo. Like, can you actually believe it? This is nasty. Alrighty, for the deck profile now, so I'm gonna try to make this as simple and clean as possible, but I'm playing 12 hand traps, so 3 Ash, 3 Mochimi, 4 Rose, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, as well as triple Droplet. So yeah, that's 15 non-engine. We're really trying to play as many consistency cards as possible so that we simply cannot brick. And also, I'm playing less Crystron cards in this deck than I would in, you know, a regular Crystron deck, so no Press Seattle, which is a card that I like a lot. I'm gonna make a video on just how you know, incredible that card is really soon, so don't worry about it. But I'm also now playing, you know, the Kashtira cards. I can bridge into Draco Sack and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to get your Crystron engine going, you kind of have to draw Crystron cards. Otherwise, you still have your K9 engine that you can rely on. And also, every now and then, you're just gonna be drawing like 1 Crystron with 1 K9, and that still plays the game incredibly well. So it's not like you have to worry about it. But yeah, the hand traps and the go second cards are there just so that going second when you lose the dice roll, you don't feel like you're losing, but when you're going first with this deck, you feel like you cannot lose. That's the cool part about it. But yeah, for the other consistency cards, obviously Foolish Burial, and then, you know, triple Smiger, triple Inclusion, so that's 7 1-card starters, and then, you know, 2 Tristalos, 1 Theistvern, 1 Citri, double Soul Fefnir, and triple Sulfador in this build. So we're not trying to play 3 and 3, we're only trying to play 5 level 5s in total. That's usually the best number for me because you go through like 3 to 4 Crystron level 5s on turn 1 when you're trying to make Nova Infinity. You burn through them really quickly, and you always need like an extra one in your deck so that if your opponent tries to nib you, you can change your Stalos to summon another level 5 to then make Samurai Destroyer and then revive back a level 5 from the grave. So that, I mean, another monster, another machine from the grave. So that's the reason why typically you're seeing like 5 level 5s, but in this build, Sulfadora is the better monster to max out of 3 just because you can easily summon it from the hand with Jokul, or sometimes you can even tribute summon it. But yeah, for the K9s, I'm playing triple Jokul, 1 Lantern, 1 Izuna, 1 Lupus, 1 X-First Liberation, and 1 Case of K9. So this one, all it really does is search a K9 monster from your deck to your hand, but also boost the attack of all your K9s by 900 during the turn your opponent activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. So that's the theme that usually surrounds the K9s and what makes them really good. And it has another effect that is kind of irrelevant, but the fact that this is a spell card, so that it can be searched off of Lantern, that can search your monsters, it kind of turns Lantern into a potential other starter, because only being able to search the X-Force Liberation doesn't really feel too great. But yeah, a 40 card build, that's what I really recommend for a deck like this. And for the extra deck, it's super tight, but 1 Croydon Gondrax, 1 Samurai Destroyer, so that Nibiru doesn't beat you too much, 2 El Esqueletas, and 2 F8 on Dragster, just because it's easy to make, but you can also play like a level 5 instead, that also works fantastic. We don't really have the extra deck space for like High Speed Word Shinbara and the Haigoita, so that's the reason why I'm saying if you want to cut the second Dragster for one of those monsters, that could work. But it's very easy to OTK your opponent with the K9 monsters, because with the case of K9, their attack gets boosted like crazy, so it's really easy to have like over 10k damage. But yeah, for the Xyz monsters, a lot of them actually, so double Werewolf. This card, you can summon 2 copies because X-First Liberation can set itself back at the end of your battle phase if your K9 monster battle this turn. 2 Ripper, so that you always have a monster that you can summon using your 2 level 5s, and then you can search a quick play spell from your deck or graveyard back on to your hand. So yeah, even if you only play 1 quick play spell, it's very easy to retrieve back. Even the case of K9 can recycle back your K9 quick play spells from your grave when it dies. So yeah, it's not going to come up too often, but still. 1 V mana, which can loop back its materials over and over, so it never runs out of fuel. And then Nova Infinity, of course, SP, and Clockwork Knight. The side deck is very subject to change, obviously gonna depend on the environment that we're in, so I'm not really gonna bother explaining it, but yeah, again, there might be some Ultimate Slayers in there, or some Lightning Storms, or some Drillin Logbird, or Chaos Hunter. I have no idea. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know how you feel about Crystron K9 in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.